Well, what are we talking about today? Blending families. This is a really big one.
It is. We've both been through this.
It's kind of a lot harder than you would think, I feel like. Mm-hmm. And one thing about blending families, whether it's just getting married or particularly what I'm talking about is like children involved and, blending the two together, it's a lot harder than you would think.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people have this unrealistic expectation of like, oh, it's going to be perfect and we're just going to be one big happy family.
Yeah.
And it's not really the case. In fact, one time in one of my therapy sessions, the counselor was like, well, just so you know, it takes about 4 to 5 years to completely blend two families cohesively together. So
it depends on the kids' ages.
I'm pretty sure, but she says no matter what, like that's a good little marker is like around that 4 years. And I'm like,
and it doesn't have to be that way. Like I think with the little ones, they just like accept like it's like a shiny new
little
object.
Ones adapt a lot quicker for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, even looking back on my past marriage, and he didn't have a child, only I had a child. Mm-hmm. And that was still very hard.
Did he not have a child, or did he have a child and you just didn't know?
I mean, I don't know.
I think he had a child.
Only the Lord knows.
And you just didn't know.
That's a whole nother subject, Megan.
Oh,
but I don't know, like, even though it was just my child, that was extremely hard. I never felt like their relationship jived at all. I never felt like my child was accepted. He always kind of felt like the odd man out, especially when we had children. It just never blended. And that was since Brylan was like 5 years old and into like him graduating high school. And I mean, that's a long stretch, and it never happened, Yeah,
because I think you were dealing with a narcissist. You know what I mean? Like he had zero empathy. He had zero empathy for Brylan. He had zero empathy for you as a mother. Mm-hmm. Like that was your child, and he didn't accept him, and he didn't forge a relationship. I had the opposite of that because DJ came into my life same age, 6, and I, because I had been raised by my stepdad my whole life, and after mom died and me and Stephanie were like 11 and 15, raised by a single dad, like that's tough work. And so I just knew like what an impact a step parent can make. Like you don't have to be blood in order to be a parent.
Mine was a little bit of the opposite coming into my relationship now, like entering into more of a step parent role. The only thing that I had to look, I had different examples. I mean, my parents have been married multiple times, so I had lots of experience with different stepmoms through the years, and different versions of that come and go, and girlfriends and different things. So I always knew what I didn't want to do, and I knew what I wanted to do. Like I had a great stepfather, not so good of stepmothers. I did have one good experience with his last wife. I had a really great experience with her. I mean, we definitely had things here and there, but I had a great experience with her. But going into this with my relationship now with his, it was just like, I just knew what I didn't want to do. There was even little things that a stepmother that I had would do. Like she would buy food for her kids and label them with her kids' names. And we weren't allowed to touch, specific things. And I kind of understand that. Maybe like if that was like for allergies or lunches or maybe certain things, but I think you would also need those same things for the other children. So everything that I do, I try to do through, if I'm going to do for this one, I'm going to do for all of them. Exactly. Right. So if I text one, "Are you hungry?" on my way home, I shoot them all 3 the same message, just to make sure like everybody, like I'm not going to bring something in for my children and not for his child.
Yeah.
Basically.
I mean, that's being a good step parent, is being, forging a relationship. You have empathy, you know how to create relationships, you know how to create bonds. And I think, it's the same thing. Like, when I was with DJ, I sat him down, pretty early on and told him like, hey, you have a mom. I'm never going to take the place of your mom. I don't want to take the place of your mom, but I can be a great, person for you to come to. I can be a great outlet for you. And I love my relationship with DJ, even though, him and me and his dad are not together anymore. We still talk. We still talk on the phone. He calls me on holidays and birthdays, and he came for Taryn's. So nothing has changed. Honestly, I think our relationships got even a little bit better since the divorce. He makes effort, I make effort. And so it's just nice.
It's interesting that you say that because I've heard Gabriel on several occasions tell Kaysen and Maddie that, like, I'm not trying to fill that role for you. I'll never replace your dad. Like, you have a dad, I'm just here for you if you need anything, so just let me know what you need. So I have heard that like many times. And I think that's a good thing to say to the children is like, I'm not trying to step on their toes. I'm not trying to be that person, but I'll be a person for you if you need anything.
And when they come to you, like, I always knew like DJ and I had a bond. Like, I would take him, clothes shopping or try to do our part when he would come to see us. And, like you say, just like on the food, same thing. Like when I saved for my kids' college, I saved for DJ's college, when I did for my kids, I did for DJ. DJ is one of my kids, just like my own 2 kids are. I have 3 kids, and DJ is included in that and will always be included in that no matter if I'm married to his dad or not, like nothing's going to change that. And it was nice to hear after the divorce, like that he clearly still wants me in his life and that 20-year bond is not going to be broken. And so that was great. And but I've seen the other side of it, when my dad married crazy Gloria in my senior year and she had a daughter and we tried to blend when we were teenagers, kind of like what you're facing now. It's different when they're that age, like her daughter was crazy. She would get in fights at school. She was stealing clothes out of my closet. She pulled a bat and had
more issues.
She tried to hit my sister and she tried to hit dad in the face, and Stephanie got in between. It was a wreck. It was just a mess, and they only lasted 1.5 years before they got a divorce. They ended up getting back together later, but yeah, it was a wreck. And I know a lot of that was because us kids didn't get along.
Yeah.
But he also knew her 6 weeks before he freaking married her.